Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. All right, and if this is your first time tuning in to the HerbMan Show, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right. So I am coming live from South Africa. You guys live from South Africa, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Please go where you need to go so that you can learn more about how to heal yourself. We teach people how to heal themselves. Okay. And there are so many facets within you that can help you through your healing journey. It ain't even funny. And we're talking about simply biologically, but also how you can connect to things spiritually to activate these biological processes. Okay, that's what we're trying to teach you. So you cannot heal yourself if you do not know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to the happiness, the wholeness, and the wellness that you're looking for. Now, you guys understand like I understand. This is free information. You don't have to pay for anything here, but I simply want you to pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is we double tap that screen and let's get us up to 100K during the live broadcast. All right. And so once we get to 50K, I'll start answering questions if you got questions or concerns. Now, the other day we were talking about light energy. Okay. And I want to continue to expound on this light coming into the body because it's not just light, sunlight. It's not just the light bulbs. It's imagery, right? Image. There's a part of that light processing that is an image. And these images have been programmed in us to be able to make decisions and behaviors and emotional whereabouts or consciousness awareness toward a thing. So when you're making these types of particular, when you're in this environmental stimuli here, you got to understand what's taking place. And the same processes that take place to break down something, you'll see that you can go through another process to build up. Okay. And what I'm trying to get you to understand again is the link between spiritual things, right? Your thoughts, your mind is not your brain, right? Your mind is not your brain. Your world is not the earth. So I'm talking about a spiritual thing that can have, or a thought life that has autonomous influence on the biological processes of your body. Now, I'm going to teach you how that is because you like thought. How in the hell thought be now it was the cigarettes, now it was this, now it was that. But you wouldn't have never picked those up had you not had the imagery linked to the language for you to identify something as something and begin to start partaking in things because of your definings of all these things. It's the way you perceive things. Did you not know that light actually comes in the eye, upside down and reversed? That should speak volumes right there that what you're seeing actually is coming into your eyelids. That is actually coming into you upside down and reversed. It is your brain that flips me. Like I had to flip this camera phone when I turned this TikTok on. You were doing that to the things around you. So how do you know what's real or fake if you flipping it? How do you know how to understand things if you flipping it? And so you're flipping things automatically, and you're saying that when you flip them, that's right side up, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But then you got to identify something as to what it is before you see how far it is, or before you see where it is. You got to see what it is, right? It is the what that is causing the emotions. Okay, it is the what that causes your emotion. It is what something is, then you identify it, right? Because the what is the identification. So now when you see light, when you're perceiving this light energy coming into your body, then you're flipping it and converting it over into chemical messengers. Converting it over to electrical signals. So you saw light came in, got converted over to electrical signals through your rods and cones in your eyes that send the message down into your nervous system, trying to identify what all this stuff is. Identification is linked. Your vision got linked to language. So you are going through. So what I'm saying is, if I never told you what something is, you couldn't provide an image for it. If I never showed it to you, you couldn't provide an image for it, is what I'm trying to say. I could tell you all day what a chair is, but if I never showed you a chair, listen to me, you wouldn't know what a chair looked like. I could tell you all day what a chair is. I could write it down to you and get you to read about it. But until you have seen it, until I've drawn it, until I created the image of it and imprinted into your brain, you wouldn't know what a chair is. That's why babies, you can tell them all these English words, but it ain't until a point until they understand. They can hear you, but they don't understand the image that you are putting into the dome. And it ain't until they get programmed to provide image to language. That's where the programming is, when you're providing your image to the language. So this right here, you consider bad. You consider this to be a bad act. You consider it to be a bad thing. You consider this to be something that you should not do based on your language. And it don't matter what language you're speaking. Okay? With that language is getting you to identify the image. Now, when you identify the image, you're going to now create emotions. How you feel about the shit. How you feel about what it is. How you feel about the A, the B, the C, the D, the E. How you feel about the song. How you feel about the movie. How you feel about the tiger coming to you. How you feel about the judge hitting the hammer and sending you. How you feel about the gun shoot. How you feel about all these things going on has to come after you identify. Because now you got to make a decision. This is in the amygdala of the brain. Okay? Your emotion center. Now, this thing is going to produce neurotransmitters and neuropeptides, which I've been teaching y'all about from the beginning. Okay? It's how you feel about McDonald's to make you go. It's how you feel about Chick-fil-A to make you go. It's how you feel about this or that, the job or life, or just the programming of the program. How you feel about the program. That makes you behave. Remember that thought creates feelings. So I just told you now, here come the light. That's the thought. Then it got in direct contact with feeling, the amygdala. How you feel about something, then that's going to create the behavior. What we're trying to do with the owner's manual, and what we're trying to do with nature-based interventions, and what I'm attempting to do every day that I come onto this social media and every day in my community, is trying to bring awareness to your brain's power to heal you. You are created with all of the chemicals and medicines that you need. You don't need more chemicals in the body, you guys. You don't need more inorganics in your body, especially not things that are created in the laboratory, or things that what we would call medicine technology, because that's what these pills are. They're technology being imputed into your bloodstream, and you're not going to react to that. So let me show you today, if you guys are willing, let me show you today what are the medicines that we're looking for to heal you. Now, I know I walked you all the way up to this point to get you to understand about the light. Now, guess what about this light? Now, this light is going to produce heat energy. So now you're converting light over to heat energy, and then you're converting light over to your emotional, right? So you got emotional thing and you got this light thing. So now when you get to understand about the light, now you're understanding about awareness and consciousness, and the higher mind and enlightenment had a lot to do with how we perceive light. Light is the messengers or the messenger particles, or the photons that we absorb through photosynthesis, right? Or through whatever they call ours, but you absorb this sunlight just like the plants do. Okay, this is information. So the plants are absorbing. So if you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're getting it. The animals absorb light, you get it. The water absorbs light, you're getting it. Everywhere out here, you have no choice but to absorb light. But there are instances where in our life we're not absorbing enough light. Okay, whether it's the climate that we're in, whether the clothes that we're wearing, whether how we feel about life, all these different things start to play a role. And now you have this high influx of vitamin D deficiencies, and it's because of the fact that you're not getting enough light. Now, the darker your skin, the more you reflect light, which means you have to be out in a light a little longer to absorb. The darker your skin means that you reflect more of the sunlight, so you need to be out in the sun a little bit more to absorb more. The lighter the skin, you absorb quickly and you absorb more in a quicker time, right? So you don't need to be out there that long if you got a lighter skin. But the bottom line is, this is information, okay? It's in your everything that you're doing, light is on it. Otherwise you wouldn't live. So now it's just about how much of this light, or how do I balance this light? How do I balance this light so that I don't get too much heat energy in my body, inflammation, or that I don't get too little light in my body and create mucus and all this type of stuff in the body and stagnation. So you need the proper amount of light, which means that you need to be able to perceive things in a particular way. Perception is now a thing of the pituitary gland when we're looking at esoterically. The pituitary gland is going to secrete something, it's going to excrete something, it's going to produce these things, right? And these things are what we were talking about, these neurotransmitters and neuropeptides and all this stuff being excreted. So who is in control of the blood's chemistry? If I'm teaching you guys this stuff, this is my first question. Who is in control of your blood's chemistry? Anybody know? I'm talking to you. You better go get your cap on then. You better go wear a cap. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't really know. Y'all come on here for esoteric knowledge, then you must understand biologically. The darker the skin, the more you're going to reflect. Like, reflect don't mean bad. Reflection, when I reflect something, that's a mirror image of something. When I absorb something, then that's a whole nother different thing. That's me mutating into something. But when I reflect, I'm a mirror image of something. I'm a reflection of the sun. So I reflect the sun. Y'all better listen to me. Don't come on here trying to talk if you don't know who you're talking to. I'm one of the realest ones on here, and I'm very, very capable of teaching you, but you got to be quiet to listen. Anybody running their mouth automatically ain't using their brain to think and listen. Okay? You are reflections of the sun. What are you talking about? Darkness don't absorb light, man. It reflects it. It reflects it. So let me ask you something. What's the opposite side of the sun? I'm going to get y'all out the way real quick. When the sun is over here, where is it at on the other side? The sun's still shining. The sun's still shining, but it's gotten to a part where the darkness is not absorbing the sun. It's the reflection. It's the opposite of it. It's the reflection of it. It's the reflection of the sun. You see that? So don't use reflect as like you're not absorbing. Use reflect as if you are in the same image of. So you reflect it. So you have the same thing as the sun. While some people may need the sun for a particular thing this way, you may need it for a particular thing that way. That is what makes you the difference. The people who are ready for a sun world will have darker skin. But to be ready for a sun world, you need to have the best sunscreen on the planet. Now, way before you invented sunscreen, the darker the tint of the skin is, creates a sunscreen, which is a reflectatory type of texture to it, which is called melanin. Okay? Thank you. All right, on to the next. All right, so now, what I want you guys to understand is what controls the blood's chemistry. The brain. The brain. I just told y'all this. I just taught you this. The brain is then in control of the chemistry of my blood. Oh, it ain't my heart? No. Because it goes here. Remember digestion. Remember I told you digestion starts from the top down. Holistic healing starts from the mind down. So digestion starts from the brain down. But when you're looking at the body holistically, then you got to understand psychology going to start from the mind down. So then we do everything from a top-down approach when we're coming to people's life. That's what the owner's manual is reversing. We're going to do a top-down approach and ask you about your spiritual life, your family life, your love life, and all that type of stuff, because that's when you're producing the healing chemistry. Anything outside of producing healing chemistry, then you're producing detriment, which is why we die. You have medicine in you that literally heals you and has been healing you. And if it stops, it's because this part of your life has stopped. And is somebody ready yet? Y'all gonna ask me what it is. Is somebody ready yet? So y'all can start asking me. You have the medicines inside of you, you guys. The more chemicals, the more outside things you put into the body actually creates more of a chemical imbalance. Okay? And yes, it's in the foods. Yes, it's in the plastics. Yes, it's in the cosmetics. Yes, it's in everything. But that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. We have to create a world. We have to create a world. We created this world. Your world is not the earth. So we can still end this world and create another one. And that's what I try to tell you about reading the Bible. You don't know what them people were going through at the time that they wrote the Bible, because you're reading it in the reader's mindset instead of the writers. You up here reading it like a book, like you the reader. But did you not ever think to ask yourself, what was the writers going through at this time? Because they could have thought it was the end of the world the same way, because it was the end of their world. They were warring back in that time, you guys. It was famine, it was war, it was all kinds of stuff going on. It could seem like it's the end of the earth, but it was just the end of their world, the end of their lives. Can feel like when you end your life, it can feel like the end of the world, but guess what? The earth is going on. After you go, after grandmama left, after Cuzzo go, after everybody go, Earth's pattern is a continual cycle of change. So therefore, the everlasting cycle part of it is when you go back to nature. What I want you guys to learn today, and I want to say this very loud and clear on TikTok and YouTube real quick while I got you guys' attention, okay? I really want to be able to say this while I got you guys' attention, all right? Your natural state is spiritual. Your natural state is spiritual. So going back to nature is spirituality. Your natural state is spiritual. So then going back to your most natural state, going back to nature, your natural state, you'll be doing a spiritual. This is how you know you're spiritual, is when you cling on to the relationship between you and nature. When you try to keep most of your identity of how nature, but you don't know your nature. We don't know thyself. But we're living unnatural. So we're living unnatural, and that's natural. But natural actually is spiritual. But when you're living unnatural, you reversed it. Remember, the image came in, it's upside down and reverse, really out here, you guys, but your brain is flipping it. What if this is heaven? I've been trying to teach y'all this. You're biologically doing these things. It's the image is coming in upside down and reverse. Your brain automatically flipped it. So what if you're getting it wrong? Okay? What if you're getting it wrong? And if this is where we're supposed to be in eternity, then what have we done? We've created our own world within. You created your own paradigm within heaven, because you're not content or have peace with the natural selection of things. Nature's selections, nature's natural laws. You can't deal with that. So you created, see, in heaven is nature's selection. And if we was good gardeners and if we was good understanders of what it is to take to be out here, then you'll understand that you don't have to look. When you the thing about this stuff, man, when you're eating fruits and vegetables, you don't kill the tree. Okay, you kill an animal, but you don't kill a tree. So it can yield up these fruits and vegetables because it's a continuation of life. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you go back to nature, you'll see where the everlasting is at. When you go back to nature, you'll see where the abundance is at. When you go back to nature, you'll see where the healing is at. When you go back to nature, you'll see where the heaven is at. But you have to perceive that when you go back to nature, that it ain't that you ain't got nothing, it's that you got everything. It's your perception of your issues and how you define them, the language that you've linked to these things, molestation, rape, violence. So you link these things. You piss me off. You done fucked up. You putting curse. So all of these things create emotions that are going to be spewed into your bloodstream. And one in particular is going to be what? Let's go down. One in particular is going to be what they call a beta endorphin. Okay, the beta endorphin is coming from the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis is producing these things that are going into your bloodstream from your brain. So it's these neurotransmitters and neuropeptides that are causing the chemical imbalance. Now, there's some things in you that can cause that emotion to be balanced. One of them is going to be serotonin. The other one is going to be oxytocin. Stop looking at these as some feel-good emotions. These are healers. They are chemicals that you are continuing to overlook. Okay? They are chemicals. These are chemicals. They are healers. Okay? Some more over here can be your melatonin. Okay? Now, I don't really like a whole lot of dopamine, but dopamine is also necessary. So if I wanted to arouse you and get you up, resurrect you, arousal. How do I get arousal? Remember that what we talked about, right? But you can get arousal and you can get excited without seeing nobody naked. Okay. And what we're saying is that you have to perceive life a certain way to be excited and to feel this, especially when you're on your deathbed, especially when you're broke, especially when your situation don't look like it's going to change. It is very hard to get the person to produce the very medicine in them that it would require to solve the problem. Do you understand, my friends? When you're coming through this paradigm, because of the way you got language linked to image, that when you get diagnosed, the language brings a spell in you that creates, first of all, you sick, and I get it. You broke, and I get it. You alone, I got it. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't need to go to the hospital for these things. You need to come to nature for them. Let nature-based interventions intervene into your situation. Okay? And these are just some of the things that you're going to see, you guys. All right? I brought some receipts for me, just some little pictures so y'all can just, because I know y'all like pictures and stuff. Y'all got to have pictures. Okay? So I was telling you about this. This is where these things are at. The chemical emotional center of your particular brain is called the amygdala. Okay? And the amygdala is where some of this stuff is partaking, not necessarily the melatonin and all that, because we know that's the pineal. But the amygdala is going to do what? That glutamate, that GABA. Okay, these are medicines. They are medicines, you guys. Okay, you got dopamine, serotonin. You got the what else? You got norepinephrine, adrenaline is going to be needed for arousal. If I'm trying to get your kidneys back up, if I'm trying to, that's what they do for you. If you're trying to get somebody to painkiller, these are great painkillers because that's where morphine comes from, is endorphins. Endorphins created the word morphine. So these are your painkillers. These are your chemical balancers. These are even your water balancers. If you got kidney problems and all of that, I just told you the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. You got some of this stuff in the adrenal medulla because you need it in order for you to produce the fight or flight. These are medicines. They are medicines, you guys. Corticotropin releasing hormone, neuropeptide Y, oxytocin, vasopressin. Vasopressin is an antidiuretic. You need that sometimes. You need to have constriction of the blood vessels. Sometimes this is what y'all problem is. You talking about you got low blood pressure. It's probably vasopressin. It's easy to understand vasopressin. It's pressing on the vessel, constricting the vessel. That's sometimes useful in a thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Okay, but it's a medicine. These are medicines that's produced. And then also these things are going to produce the actual hormones. These are neurotransmitters and neuropeptides. These are things that are going into your bloodstream from here first, from the brain first. I got to show you. Okay, I got to show you. Bam. So now we already see two of them. Now we're going to talk about serotonin. How do I boost my serotonin? We done told you about the nutrition. We told you about how to get the food sunlight, right? Through the microgreen. Get the baby. The earlier the baby is, it done downloaded so much sunlight to force itself through that grass, to force itself through that dirt. It's got so much potential of energy that this is what you want to get. That remember, it's absorbing the sun. It just went from putting roots in the ground to now busting toward the sun. It's got so much growth for sun energy. That's the food you want to eat. Microgreens for nutrition. It boosts serotonin. All right. Now we already talked about the 4 hours of daylight outside, right? We talked about at least getting 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Or either from in the spring or summer. I mean, the winter or summer is going to be a little different, but that's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Them your two slots, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the winter, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the summer. That's the type of sunlight you need. And that's the 2 hours you can stay out there. So if you are melanated, then you ain't going to burn up out there. If you are melanated, 8 to 10, stay out there for them 2 hours, or you can stay out there for the 6 to 8 or the 4 to 6, 2 hours. All you need is 2 hours. If you're melanated, you need at least 2 hours of sunlight. Okay. I mean, if you're dark skinned, you need 2 hours of sunlight. Everybody got a little melanin. All right. Exercise produces serotonin. We talked about this the other day. All right. Mood and mind. Serotonin you can also boost serotonin with meditation. This is what we're trying to get you to do. Okay. All right. And gut and health. Now, you guys don't know, but 90% of your serotonin is created in your gut. Let me repeat that. 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut. Okay. Now you also got something down there. You got 80% of your immune system in the gut. So you got 80% of your immune system in the gut, along with 90% of your serotonin being produced in the gut. Okay. Now, this excess serotonin, if it is a such thing, can get converted and will get converted over to melatonin to help you sleep. Okay. To help you sleep. Now, this is how you boost it. You see it? This is what you got to do. This is another one. The benefits of oxytocin. Oxytocin is what we're trying to produce. Okay. Let me repeat that. Oxytocin is the thing that we're trying to produce. Okay. I know I came out with serotonin just to kind of let you know about the mood regulation and your emotions, but oxytocin is what we're trying to produce in nature-based interventions. Okay. We're trying to create a love again, a bonding again with community that's going to heal your loneliness. Okay. We're trying to create, you see, the stress and anxiety. If you got high blood pressure, all that type of stuff, you need this serotonin, oxytocin type thing. It lowers your blood pressure. Why? Because we're going to calm your nervous system. But you got your perception of something can't be that you it finna die, that you just so, because that's a stress thing, and that's an overly stimulated sympathetic nervous system that we can't have when we trying to get the parasympathetic stuff to come in, the rest, relaxation. So you got to have contentment and peace. Stress and anxiety can get eradicated with contentment and peace. This is the medicine. Okay, your heart health. You guys got cognitive. I mean, you guys got clogged arteries. You got heart failure issues. You got all these different things. You guys need to watch your heart health. Oxytocin. Something is going on with the love life. It could be the love for the job. It could be the love in your life. It could be the love of money. Whatever relationship you got going on with life, with this experience, that's where this is coming from. And I got to rekindle this relationship. If you don't want to leave here, you need to rekindle your relationship, and you need to be able to love life, not what's in it. Don't try to love what's in life, because that's a temporal mindset to have. Love life. If you love what's in life, then you will create particular paradigms that will start to cause a particular degeneration of mindset, because the shit is changing. It's temporary. So it's like, why in the hell would we attach ourselves to temporal type of mindset, understanding that it's temporal? If you want a permanent state, you got to look at what's permanent. And these are things that are attached to nature. Okay? Everything else changes, but things that are attached to nature, yes, it's a permanent changing pattern, but it's attached, so it's everlasting. The things that we create are fleeting and temporal. And when I'm saying creating, I ain't talking about inventions. I'm talking about the whole invent of capitalism, the whole invent of my own world. The whole invent of human evolution, we flipped it. And when you think you're going forward, you're actually going backward, and you go backwards to go forward. You need to go back to me, to ancient people that's coming, that was born to keep this thing going. Even though I'm only 46 years old, I'm standing in the gap between those who been knew this and motherfuckers who they ain't never heard about it before. I'm standing in the gap. Forget my knowledge, you guys. You need to go back to nature, man. We need to go back to the knowledge of nature and to the language of nature. And the language of nature was in numbers. And a lot of this stuff that being written is coded in that, and you can't get it. So it's frustrating. Now look at this again now, because you're talking about ED, and you're talking about babies and infertility issues and fibroids and endometriosis, and you're talking about PCOS and all these different things. Your healer is here. But you got to understand, this ain't dopamine. Dopamine is sex. Oxytocin is making love. So you can't get enough because you ain't getting enough. That's why you can't get enough, because you ain't getting enough. Had I known, I ain't know this. Had I known and been able to articulate it enough, I could have saved my own self from a lot of stuff. But I didn't know. I'm learning as you learning, but we gonna share together. This is the medicine. Oh, so you want to be strong, huh? Do you see right there? Y'all see it? Healing. I ain't put it up there. I don't make these little things. Healing. Healing. What you looking for? What you trying to heal? Put a little love in your heart. And then what's the last one? We're teaching people how to be happy, whole, and well. And this is what this one thing does. Well-being. Teaching you how to be happy, whole, and well is what serotonin and oxytocin does. That's why when you're coming back into nature, when you're coming back into consciousness, the first thing that you guys want to know, if you're seeking God, is that you must fall back in love with the natural laws, the natural processes of things. Yes, it's going to take a little time, but what I'm saying is that we created this world for this type of man. Now, if you want to go back to your natural state, we got to create a world for that man. Now, I'm getting you to understand this, because if you're trying to do this by yourself and take this thing to the next level, it won't happen without a movement. This is a community. Remember that we are 50 trillion cells. So you're looking at 50 trillion cells, not just me. So I'm a community of cells making this image. And we must be a community of people creating the image, the world that we are looking for. So our relationships are always going to be bad because the one person is sent because you looking for shit in the world. I just want to be of it. I just want to be a part of it in a way to where I know I'm linked to it, to a particular thing, to where I understand all the abundance is around me. I appreciate you allowing me to have the knowledge to build, but I don't need to build nothing. I appreciate you giving me the knowledge to create, but I ain't really nothing to create. See, that's what you got to understand, that you are everything that you're desiring and looking for, but you get your mind off of you a lot of times because your subconscious take control. And when the subconscious take control, then you're operating most of this particular paradigm in the what? In the subconscious, meaning that you're operating on the program. So we got to reprogram you because this world is killing you. The world that you created for yourself does not quantify you living long. So then, therefore, you shouldn't, to be honest with you. And this long because there's an egregiousness to this life that you should not have to endure forever. But when you change, what I said, what if this is heaven? If then nobody died, when nobody cried. And so therefore, some of these emotions wouldn't even be tapped into. But if I can get into loving you and crying, I can still see tears without nobody hurting me to see a tear. Love can bring a tear. See? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that there are still ways that you could have experienced this thing instead of the ways that we are experiencing. We have to create a new world for the new man. You can't put old wine in a new bottle. So you must understand that when you're coming over to this thing, when you're reading your Bible or your Quran, or when you're doing this or when you're doing that, you must understand what you are reading. And how is it going to keep me bonded, loving, well, healed, productive, happy? How is this thing going to do it? And these things are eating away at us because of our idea of what we think life's supposed to be. We only are getting stressed out because of our own wants, needs, and desires. And when they're not met, you get frustrated. When she don't do what you say, he don't do how you think he should do, or they don't do this, or they don't pay you that, or you can't go here, or you can't go there, or you can't have this, or you can't have that. That's it, because you're wanting. But what is it that you want? Because being uncontent, you can't find no peace. And this very thing right here balances your emotions. It literally will calm the sea. When I keep teaching y'all about calming the sea. Now, I can't give you no herb for love. I can't give you no goddamn herbs for this, y'all. And you keep coming to me talking about what you got for my blood pressure, what you got for my dubilitis, and what you got for my tubalitis, and what you got for my fibrilitis. Let's change our world. Let's change what we're trying to desire to do. I want you to be in love every day. But it's because of your wants, needs, and desires, and it's because of your language that you put on those things. And when they're not met, you piss a fit creating the chemicals imbalances. And you're doing it too chronically. It's okay to happen every now and then, but you're doing it too chronically. You're faced with decisions too chronically. You're trying to make choices every day too chronically. Life shouldn't be that goddamn hard. Do I pay the bill today or tomorrow? Do I goddamn take him to school today or tomorrow? Do I go drop her off today or tomorrow? Do I go graduate today or tomorrow? Is his birthday today Or is her birthday tomorrow? Is it my mama them? Is it my cousin them? Is it if I steal, will I get locked up? You know, if I get locked up, will I stay in there? If I stay in there, will I live in there? Will I live in there if I die? I mean, you got so much going on. It is crazy because you can't live in the bosom of the experience. You're supposed to not do shit but enjoy. You're supposed to don't do nothing but enjoy this thing, man. Keep tapping the screen, you guys. Let's go. Let's keep tapping the screen. Let's go. I'm trying to get you to produce oxytocin. That's all I'm trying to do. And I'm telling you what it is, right? That's on you. But what we're trying to do is sit you down and get you to produce oxytocin. If you got cancer, produce oxytocin and serotonin. And this is going to produce, serotonin is going to produce what I told you is the precursor to melatonin. Okay? So we already know that this is going to be what? You produce it, you're going to get more sunlight, nutrition, food, sleep, meditation, all of this, and you're going to sit down somewhere and you're going to perceive this particular life, and you ain't gonna think it's hell, and you ain't gonna be scared because of the violence, and you ain't gonna be scared because of this and that. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a really nice space, a really nice consciousness to be in as you walk through. And if we can teach everybody how to get into this higher mind consciousness, if we can teach everybody how to balance out themselves by knowing your own tendencies, right? You got to know you got the tendency to get angry. You got to know you got the tendency to have some addictive behavior. I know I got the tendency to have addictive behavior. So if you put something in front of me, I always do it. But so I have to be reminded to do other things to break that cycle. Okay? Otherwise, but then you got to, but you're going to do something else. You got to watch that, because everything that you enjoy, you can get addicted to. Everything I like, I can get addicted to, but everything I like ain't right. Some stuff I like is wrong. So then that's why you need to balance your addictive behavior and not necessarily try to deal with the right and the wrong, because it's the addictive behavior that is the root cause. It don't matter what I put in front of you. I can give you the Bible and you can have an addictive behavior with that. And the thing about it is you should not have any attachments like that to anything that's created by man. So therefore, we got to release some of this stuff. Yeah, you got to build, but so what? You know, in the immortal words of my homeboy from Atlanta, yeah, you got this and that, but whip it do. Huh? Whip it to do, dog. Yeah, you got it, but whip it to do. You got to be able to let some of this stuff go and be able to deal with yourself. Okay? There's a lot of stuff I want to do, but I understand sometimes I got to deal with myself. Can't always blame other people for stuff. Always doing it. You have to deal with yourself. I give myself a lot of grace to learn myself. And then folks got to expect it for you to learn them. Not only learn you, you need to learn yourself. I need to learn myself. And then once we learn self, we'll know how to control self better. Because that's going to benefit you. If I know how to control myself better, that's going to benefit you. And vice versa. Okay? So that's what this is all about. Producing this. And you can't produce this until you're in love with life. Okay? You can't produce this until you're in love with life. Not what's in life. Not the fact that you got kids, not the fact that you got a car, not the fact that you got a house, not the fact that you got a job, not the fact that you got money, not the fact that you got food, not the fact that you got this. You got to love life, not what's in life. Love life to produce this. Now, the reason why I said love life is because some of you guys are so sick that you can't get this in the relationship side because you can't do that, right? But if you could, that's where it's at too. Okay, so now you got that in that part. You can also do this for music. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. I see you. And look at what my son do right here. Go on the show him, pimp. DJ Wanley Wan back here drawing my board back here. See, and we got to get it into them. These are signals. These are sending sound waves and frequencies. Thank you, baby. They're sending sound waves and frequency. You see what I'm saying? He don't know what it's really all about right now, but he's learning. He's listening. And they send signals and frequencies, energies go out. So that's why I try to tell people, watch your energy. It's not about what you say. I can watch you and tell that you ain't right, right? So you got to be able to understand these energies and don't bring that shit around people all the time. Work on yourself. Okay? Work on yourself. As I yet speak, as I yet get, I yet give. So I'm learning just like you. But I understand this to be the recipe. Just because I ain't perfect don't mean that I'm not gonna give up the secrets yet. Because I can see it now. I can get it now. I understand now what you're trying to tell me now. What you're trying to tell me is that it ain't God's fault. What you're trying to tell me is that it ain't God's fault. What you're trying to tell me is that it's not God's fault, but you got to be able to see why that is a true statement, because it is your programming. You even wrote your own book and created a God. That book said that it was wrote by men who were inspired by God. That means that it came out of their mind. It came out of their higher consciousness. And when you really understand that disease is not a part of this particular paradigm, but it's a part of your world, it's not a part of the earth. When you understand nature's plan for your life, and we can get you tapped into that, you'll fall back in love with life. And some people get this on their deathbed. Some people don't. Some people will get this on their deathbed. They'll fall in love with life and be like, boy, I want to get up. Boy, I am so happy to be alive. Lord Jesus, I almost died. They don't care nothing about the children at that moment. They don't give a damn about the bills at that moment. You understand me? Some folk get this on the deathbed, and you'll see that when they get this renewed sense of a love for life now, you get your ass up. And that's what we're trying to produce in you. But you don't have to do it on the deathbed. Do it on the po bed. Do it on the reproductive bed, right? Get yourself together in all these other areas so that you don't never see death. Okay? Get yourself together in all these other areas of life so that you don't have to see death. And it's just being in love with life, being okay with the natural patterns, being okay with natural selection. It's okay. I ain't got to do nothing more. The fruits are not raw. They are cooked. The vegetables are not raw. They are cooked, but they just are cooked based on Mama Nature's cooking. But I told you that the image is linked to language. So you are bringing an upside down reverse thing and you flipped it. That's on you to flip it, because now you got to unflip it to see the truth. You got to unflip this thing and see it how it really is. Eradicating the death consciousness, coming in with this light energy. You understand that you get this from everything, but you need more of it. Okay? When you get sick, this is a telltale sign that your light energy is down. That's because maybe the food that you're eating don't got enough light in it. A hamburger don't got no light in it, especially if it's processed and it ain't real meat. Remember that the light is in the darkness, right? So then how do you know when something got light in it? Because it's being dark. That's what I'm trying to tell Pimp them. We reflect the sun. How do you know something got light in it? Is when it is dark. When it does have coloration, pigmentation, it has light. Okay? And so we're losing that in our foods. We're losing it by our clothes that we wear. We're losing it because we're not exposed to nature enough. So your immune system is low. Your kidneys ain't functioning right. Your kidneys ain't functioning right ain't because you've been drinking all the alcohol and stuff like that. That goes to the liver. Kidneys most of the time is not functioning right due to your fight or flight and sympathetic nervous system. Remember the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. So every time you think a thought, it has to go down to your adrenals to figure out, do you fight or flight? What it is and what I need to do. What it is and how I need to interact with this. And based on that, you're going to produce chemicals in you to be angry at it, to fuss at it, to love on it, to coddle it, to throttle it. So touch massages, touch therapy can help produce these things. Being in love can help produce these things, not sex. Being in love can help produce these things. These things are produced when you do go through childbirth, when you're able to conceive, is because of these things. Without these things, there will be no life. So way before your testosterone and your estrogen, it was these, your feelings. Because it is these things that allow the immune system to not allow one of them things to pass and not kill all of them, because sperm is foreign to the woman. So without this being produced and saying, let it slide, this passerby, and that's what you got to do, is got to let it, it's this passerby. This is creative juices. It creates life. And what you got to do is understand that. Esoterically and spiritually and biologically, this creates life. This creates and regenerates you. But you got to understand that on a spiritual level as well, that this is what you are doing. This is the medicine. If you ever ask me about herbs and all this types of stuff, that's fine, but ain't nothing stronger than serotonin, oxytocin, and melatonin in your body. You can ask me about medications and how metformin do and how this do and how that do, and I'm gonna still tell you that ain't nothing more powerful medicine, that they can't even make this on the shelf to do this, what this does. Serotonin and oxytocin and melatonin are the healing chemicals that have been produced in your body, and you need light and heat. And one of these things I told you, you're gonna convert light into heat, and then you're gonna convert light into emotion, into a behavior. Okay? And when we understand how we are bending light, okay, how we're bending light, then we'll get it. Your corner, I think they call it your cornea of your eye, bends light. It refracts light. Okay. Then you go to the pupil stage. The pupil was another word for pupil. Student, you. Okay. You bend light, and then you go to the pupil stage. Okay. And then at this pupil stage, then it's going to go to the retina. Right. Now, when you get it to the retina ain't nothing but a bunch of cells. This is where the image is upside down and reversed. Okay. Then when you get through the rods and the cones, you send the electrical signal. So you don't converted light into electrical signal. So you can transfer light into electrical signals via the nervous system to identify something that you're going through. And then also you're transferring light, converting light into chemicals as well, because now you got to feel about a certain thing. So then you convert that light over to some chemicals too, because you got to feel something about something. So it is this enlightenment, it is this light that we are getting from this particular paradigm that we must balance. And how you balance is it by being in the ambiance of it. Okay? Being content and in peace with it. So you got to look at what light is, right? You say the sun. The Son of God is the Savior. Light can save you, but you got to know more about how your body converts this light. And I'm talking about light in food and light in your mind and your thoughts. And once we understand this, man, I swear, this nature-based interventions and understanding nature more so you can understand your body more is probably the best lessons you guys can learn. If you guys got any questions, you can feel free to ask them, and we can take you up on any of those questions. All right. Please keep tapping, you guys, and I'll keep talking. Please keep tapping and I'll keep talking. Do you got any questions about the production of oxytocin and serotonin and melatonin? Anybody got anything they want to say about this? The more sunlight you get, the more sleep you get. Okay, the more sunlight you get, the more sleep you get. The more you get, the more sleep you get. You ever heard somebody say, "Oh, they sleeping like they ain't worried about nothing"? It's because they got some contentment and some peace. Okay, so the more light you get, what's going on? The more sleep you get. Okay, so you must understand those things. Any questions? Oh, so much knowledge. This is needed. Yeah, what's going on, Chantel? Thank you very much. Any questions? Anybody suffering from anything? Want to talk about it?
This is your time. That's why I'm resting. Good. Rest, but also get the light. Go outdoors. The best time to go outside is in the morning time. In the morning times, you guys, okay? The best time to go out is the morning time. Dry eyes, all you need to do is get you some eye bright. Okay, eye bright. Fibromyalgia, you got to control. That's again, you got to control your emotions. Every time you get emotionally distraught, that's when you start to have those pains everywhere, Brenda. It's connected to your emotions. Okay, now it is a autoimmune system issue. So then I'm going to say, well, then you might want to be looking at how you grieve. Okay, how you grieve, depression, grief and depression, some loss, somebody hurt you. If you go back to the time you got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, maybe a year or two before your diagnosis, you were going through some stuff, you got hurt, or somebody hurt you, and you haven't been able to grieve and decompress from that situation the way you think. And that caused the fibromyalgia, but that's an attachment that we got to change, Brenda Fuller. I've been working on my time cycle. There you go. Also, this is connected to your circadian rhythm as well. So the serotonin is connected to your circadian rhythm. It helps us sleep. It helps us doze off. Again, it's going to convert over into melatonin as you sleep. So it's always useful. And this is about your gut. It's in your gut. How often do you go live? Every day between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eczema. You can fix eczema with simple stuff. Witch hazel, calendula. You can mix those together and you can help yourself with that. But again, when you're getting too emotional, cut cute love. You get into emotional, you're having the breakouts. Okay? When you get too emotional and too chemical imbalance, this is the waters, this is your emotions. That's when you get eczema, cute love. Taking melatonin makes me nauseous. So you don't need to take melatonin. You're supposed to be producing it. Do you think it's important to still take a supplement? No. I mean, not a supplement. You need herbs if that's what you're talking about. Herbal supplements, but not. You can't take inorganic melatonin. How can it be melatonin? It has to be produced by you. It has to be produced by you. So you got to start doing things in your life that encourages you to produce melatonin. That means that you need to go to sleep, which means that you need to be tired, which means that you probably need to be doing more throughout the day so that you can be dog tired and you can get the sleep that you need. And the more you start going to bed dog tired because you've been outside in the sunlight and you've been outside in the nature, or you've been playing like a kid and you just been running around and usurping all your energy, then you'll see it can't nothing stop sleep, and can't nothing stop sleep when you're tired. Come on, y'all. See, we in this world. We in this world, and you're asking for stuff that is really common knowledge. Your healing is free. You provide the environment, your body will heal itself. I'm showing you how to provide that environment with the owner's manual. Okay, if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me and we'll get you the information that you need. Lower back kidney issues, what should I do? Stop being afraid, stop being fearful. Okay, stop being afraid, stop being fearful. All right, that's the first thing. Stop being worrying and all that type of shit. If you stop worrying and doing all that, the kidneys will do its thing. Okay. Lower back inflammation. That means, first of all, inflammation. We talked about that yesterday. That means you don't got the body too hot. So that means that you're doing too much to create too much heat energy. So when blood pressure go up, blood volume go up, then the heat energy also go up. When work come in, then heat energy also goes up. So you're constantly under inflammation, back pain, you keeping your body temperature up, you keeping your immune system chronically responding, and that ain't gonna bode well for you in the end because you usurping all your energy. You see what I'm trying to say? So you got to look at what's usurping your energy like that, and you got to get away from those things. Create the environment, the kidneys come back into tact, the pain go away, and now you back good. Yes, it makes you feel rejuvenated, sunshine. Yeah. Can you explain the information in the bottom right corner? Yes, those are the times. Okay, those are the times. We'll get into that type of stuff a little later, but those are the times. Kidney stones are very easy to deal with. All you got to do is get you some Chianca and some. You can do Chianca, and I would probably go with Buchu. Okay, Chianca, Pedra, and Buchu. Buchu is very good for any kind of cyst growing in the body, any kind of calcification. So you can do Buchu, yellow dock, hydrangea root. And that's a blend right there for kidney stone. Allergies, you need to get out into nature. Okay, if you guys are dealing with allergies, you got to look at what the allergy is, and you got to get out into nature and defeat that allergy. Okay, you can't be allergic to heaven. Okay, that's a tall tale sign that we're not on the right path. You cannot be allergic to heaven. All right, nothing out here you should be allergic to because you should be exposed to the ambiance of it. That's why I'm trying to tell you some of this stuff we can't fix in the world that you're currently in, because I can help you get rid of some of these herbs and medications do work, but your situation is not allowing you to get better. Okay, because you got to go back home. You got to drive from the doctor's office back to your life. That's why that love life is the key, because I can give you the right medications, but if you're in the wrong life, it still ain't going to work. I can give you the right herbs, but if you go back to the wrong life, you're creating a stumbling block for the effectiveness. All right, water, itchy eyes all the time, eye bright. Okay, eye bright. So you understand that, right? So you guys, that's why knowing thyself is the best key to understanding your power. And that's why they left that on the walls. And the owner's manual is again, it serves as a guide to get us to understand ourselves a lot better. And that's why it's probably the best thing that you can do, the best investment. It's only $50, only funky, measly $50, right? But it is what you really need. Okay, I know you guys are asking me about just little temporary things and maybe just little isolated situations, but get your owner's manual so that you don't have to worry about. Don't think I'm gonna be on here for forever. Don't be waiting on me every day. Get the shit that you need, because what you need, you just need for you anyway. You don't need to learn this to try to teach this to nobody, because you don't know thyself first. Use it on you. Then when you get it down packed, that's when you can convince somebody else. You need to model what you believe in, what you say works. So you get it, right? Because you're going to keep having high blood pressure if you're just coming on today. Oh, he gave me the herbs for it. Yeah, but you're going to be taking herbs all your life. Herbs also will affect your liver and kidneys. They liquids too. Why you got to be in constant fix mode? Right? You got to be in constant fix mode. No, there's a time and season for healing. But when you start drinking tea every day, your body get used to the shit. So then what you going to do? So this stuff is only necessary when needed, but you should never need it if you know how to prevent things. And the prevention is in knowing thyself. And prevention is cheaper than the cure. So this little $50 right here is all you need to prevent. But if you're trying to cure something, you know you're going to have to get something outside of this, right? So you're already paying more. Prevention is cheaper. Prevention is the owner's manual. It costs $50. But if you're looking at me for a cure, you know you're going to pay more than $50, don't you? Because this ain't going to do nothing but tell you what you need, and then you're going to have to get what you need. So you see how prevention is cheaper than a cure? Automatically, the cure going to cost you for at least an extra $25, because the blend costs $25 or $35 depending on which blend you got. You get it? So automatically you coming out of $75 to $85 if you need a cure, when you can just prevent it for $50. Prevention is cheaper than the cure. Stop coming at me late. Stop coming at me late, man. Get this little stuff out the way. Get your little book in your hand. Get a little stuff in your email. Get it on your wall. Laminate it. Get it for your children. Put it in your private papers. Put them in your safe where your birth certificate is at. Put them with your important papers. Put them with your marriage license. Whatever you want to do. You get this and you keep this till you need it, and then you go back and refer to it in your time of need. What I had a tendency to get into some of this stuff, and I knew it, and I didn't see it. I did get it. I read this for my children and realized he had a tendency, and so I was able to safeguard him as he walked through life because I knew his tendencies. You don't know your child's tendencies until after they show you the motherfucker. Well, the owner's manual was going to show you the tendencies before they do the behavior. You don't know the tendencies until after you do something. The owner's manual will give you to prevention before something happens. Okay, before it's I'm coming at you 20 years late. There was no TikTok then. It's all good. I'm coming at this information at least about shit. I came into this in my 30s. So by then I had already been to the penitentiary. I had been married a couple times. Hey, life had already beat me up by that time too. So we all got it, but it don't mean that this ain't the way that it needs to be. And that's what I was trying to get you to understand. You have to create a world that facilitates this type of thinking and living. And so you can't go back to the same house. Well, once you get out of hell, you ain't gonna go back down. Okay, so down here in hell is where you got death. Down here in hell is where you got divorce, poverty, disease. That's down here. That's in this hellacious consciousness, right? That you think that this is all real to you. Because, and then what happens is now you down here and you press for time. So it's throwing you off. It's throwing you off. All the little your wants, needs, and desires are pressed by time, creating these dynamics as limits. Let me repeat that. All of your wants, needs, and desires are being pressed by time, creating these limitations for you. Okay? So therefore, and these are because of a programming. This is the subconscious that we live in the majority of the time. And when you tap back into consciousness periodically, you're not staying long enough to be able to see the fulfillment. So 95% of subconsciousness is learned behavior, which means that's intellectual. This is the intellectual side. I told you intellectual is fact-based. So 95% of the time you're going off muscle memory of things that you've heard, the language that you've attached to images, and all of that, you're operating under the program. I'm trying to get you to just think if you operated over here more than 5 to 10%, and you at least did it 50. And this is intuition, right? This is intuition. This is heaven. This is intuition and heaven, and everything that you want, need, and desire, you already see is here. So you don't have any wants, needs, and desires. That don't mean that you don't get up and go. That don't mean that you don't get up and do, but you got to look at what that go, where you're going and what you're doing. You're still going to be going places, but you ain't got to be doing a whole lot. You're still going to be doing things, but you ain't got to do a whole lot. Where I got to go? Over here to the fruit trees. Where I got to go? Down here to the freshwater lake. Where I got to go? To the spring to get me some water. What I got to do? Nothing but bask out here bucket naked. Learn how to use the wood to build me a house. But I don't have to have $1 million house. I just need to have shelter from the rain, shelter from the storm, because when it's sunlight, I'm spending most of the time out here in it. I don't need nothing extravagant, but because I want a mansion, because I know how to build shelter, now I want to build the best shelter with the best amount of money, with the best stress on it that you can possibly do. Ain't you tired of walking? Well, no, because walking is tied into my daily exercise. So I don't have to lift weights if I walk. So if I build a car, yeah, it'll get me to the place faster, but I lose the natural ability to be healthy by walking. But that wasn't important. Getting there fast was important to you, not the element of so now you got to get a job. So you went and got a job now. So now you over there being programmed to be somebody else. If you work at McDonald's, you trying to be McDonald's. If you work at Burger King, you trying to be. If you work at Walmart, you trying to be one of the Waltons. But what about your goddamn idea of life? What about you? Where is your name at on the store? What? You understand me? So you're being programmed. You want to be like LeBron James. You wearing his number, wearing Jordan's number. You're trying to mimic somebody else. Yeah, that'll get you a little well, but it ain't going to get you nowhere. Do it the way you need to be. You need to be you because you don't know thyself to know and be comfortable with that. So we got all of these stressors down here. Once you get up here, you ain't gonna want to go down there no more. And I'm trying to tell you that I can't rebirth you back into the womb, but we can rebirth you in the mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The rebirth happens in the mind. So if you're trying to renew cells, if you're trying to regrow organs and tissues, if you're trying to renew relationships, if you're trying to rebirth your finances, then you must do it here. I can't start you over and get you to miss what mom and daddy them did, or what happened to you in them years. So because we can't take back the life, we can reprogram the mind. And in reprogramming your mind, we're going to produce these chemicals when we get the mind to think of life in a more loving way. And that's all I got for y'all today, man. Unless y'all got something for me, keep tapping it out, keep talking. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes. I just want to continue to keep expounding on the fact that you guys don't think that this works, but it does. And it's very simple stuff. But yes, you do got to make room for it. Being healthy will also disrupt your life like sickness will. Because your world is not evolving around being healthy. There's not nothing that we do healthy. We don't have a healthy thought life. We don't have a healthy drinking habits. We don't have healthy food habits. We don't have healthy sex habits. We don't have healthy anything. So we have to learn how to balance these things out. And the reason why is because we're looking at things in life instead of life itself. So you're in this accumulation mode, right? And you just want what you desire because that's the game. Everybody's playing that game, but that game's the end of it is death, divorce, disease, poverty, and everything. The game we're trying to play and what I'm trying to redo on this social media is show you that you've been programmed to think that these things, and so therefore you're creating them. They are not real, but they can be real to you. Okay? Because you are producing these things in your life. When you believe that you're going to die, you will die. When you believe that the shit ain't good and the women ain't good, this, that, you will get into the divorce. If you believe that it ain't nothing you can do about your impoverished situation, you will stay in poverty, not just experience it, but you'll stay there. If you believe that that this, that, and the third, then you can have anything you want out here, you're going to get diseases. Okay, so this is where this thing is at, but it is all about this being programmed in you. That's why you see so many people telling you that there's no such thing as disease. They're trying to get it out of the program. There's no such thing as death. They're trying to get it out of the program. There's no such thing as divorce. You remember the Bible even tell you that when you're married, really you're married for forever until the man don't want you, right? But at the end of the day, that's what you're going through, right? So all of this stuff that's supposed to be everlasting, we put a temporary idea on it. Life is supposed to be everlasting, then you come in here with death in your world. Earth shows us everlasting, right? Relationships supposed to be everlasting. Here you come with your world with divorce, where y'all can get divorced if you ain't happy. What the hell you mean we ain't happy? How could we not be happy? Because of our ideals, our programming about life. Because really, if you just basking in the sun and you get to the finite, simplest understanding of what life is, ain't no reason for me to. You mad because you ain't got no money. I'm mad because I ain't got no money. You mad because you ain't where you at. I'm mad because where I ain't at. Now we mad at each other. It's because of our wants, needs, and desires. Not really. It's not because of the true design for our life. And we don't know that design. So the one that we created creates the frustration and the stress. So that money becomes an issue when the world is everlasting. Okay? We know that if it's everlasting, then we know that really ain't no such thing as disease because balance is always going to be present. Homeostasis is always present. It's just about how you activate it, right? Homeostasis is always right there. It's just a step away, but you got to walk toward it. Balance is always in the picture, but you got to know where it's at. So we show you this in the owner's manual, what your balance is. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. Okay. And so therefore, what we're saying is it's time out for continue to keep putting this image and these languages into the system. Okay. It's time out to keep putting these images with these languages into your system. Okay. It's time out to keep putting these images with these languages, these visions, these images that come through, these environmental stimuli. We identify it with our programming. But you don't know what this stuff is doing for you. You don't know what breaking up doing for you. You don't know what being together doing for you. You don't know what being here is going to do for you. You don't know what going there is going to do for you. And that's intuition. Because if you did the intuitive side, life get a little damn easier, better, and wow. Now all of a sudden, this is freaking heaven, dude. If I only could just tap into my intuition, I would freaking see it was heaven. Because now I know where to go and I know what to do and I know who I am. And that's the real design of life. And that's where you can be everlasting. Why would you want to be everlasting the way it is now? It ain't going to work. Okay? Too hard to accomplish. Change the mind, you change the design of the man. Okay? You change the mind, you change the actual design of the man. And then now when we start coming into this thing in this natural perspective and this natural consciousness and in this presence that we're in, and then we stand in it and we intuitive, now I find the right woman. Now I find the right place to be. Now I find the right life to have. And then now all of a sudden, this ain't as bad as you think it is. Now all of a sudden, she ain't as bad as they made her out to be in the Bible. Now all of a sudden, he ain't as bad as they say he is with all this cheating, because now we understand what we're here for, and that we may need to look at reproduction and look at this stuff in a different lens based on natural selection. So now jealousy may not be there. Now anger may not be there. Now how you feel, it may not be because of the programs. Now it don't hurt. And now if I don't hurt, then I'm healed. Now it ain't no pain. Remember that these are painkillers. Painkiller ain't just talking about something biologically, but this is talking about things in your life. You got to understand what we're saying. They use these words, but you need to see them spiritually. So oxytocin, serotonin, melatonin, and a few of those other things were is what they call a lot of these neuropeptides and stuff like that are going to be what they call painkillers, right? But the pain killing effect, the pain relieving effect, is the pain going on in your life, not in your kneecap, but the pain going on in the life for you to get structured. See, pain in the knee tells me the skeletal system tells me the structure of your body. So if you got pain in the knee, that means that you got a pain in the structure of where your life is moving and headed toward. Because the kneecap is the movement of the leg, right? The movement of your lower leg. So that's telling me there's the way things are moving and how you're trying to plan your life ain't working out, aka arthritis. See, we need that emotion. The owner's man was going to link us to your disease, to your emotion. That is the biggest thing about the owner's man. If y'all are looking and listening and be like, he still ain't really said how important. I've been telling y'all how important it is. But the importance really is linking that disease to the spiritual thing, to the emotion, to the thought life, to the deadly emotions. Once we link it to that, we straight. And then now once we link it to that, we'll be good to go. So we get your owner's manual, we get your birthday, and then we use this old calculator, this old navigation tool. And then because it is a navigator and a calculator, it's going to pinpoint where you at. And then we'll understand how long you've been there, how long you going to be there, and where you at, and what lessons you need to learn while you're there. And that's what we do with the owner's manual. We pinpoint where you are in the walk of life, in the light path, in the sun's path, because we're dealing with light and heat energy. So we tell where you are on the yellow brick road, right? The path of the sun, the life path, or the light's path, right? Because this is the what they call the ecliptic of the sun. So this is the pattern that the sun makes as we orbit around the sun. All right. So now at the end of the day, we're going to calculate you. We're going to navigate you, right? And so this is the calculation. This is the navigation, right? And then we're going to find the disease. And then we're also going to find the emotional breakdown. And then we're going to link those two together and show you how to balance. Okay. And a lot of you guys have just been taking stuff just for diseases, and you ain't been doing a very good spiritual thing. Okay. So I tell you guys, if you're dealing with high blood pressure, watch your worrying. Watch your worrying. Okay. You got to find some peace. You got to sit your head down somewhere and find some peace. If you're dealing with high blood pressure, watch your self-control. High blood sugar. If you're dealing with high blood sugar, watch your self-control. If you're dealing with high blood pressure, watch your worrying. Anybody else? So I'm learning. I found my peace. Good. Hopefully that has a green space attached to it, love. Hopefully wherever you found your peace, a green space is attached to it. Because we got to make sure that we're out here doing this thing. Diabetes is self-control, the pouring. Okay. If you're dealing with diabetes, which is high blood sugar, okay, that's what I call it, high blood sugar, that's self-control. For pain, just like I just said, if you're dealing with pain is a sign that you're hurt. Okay. Pain is a sign that you're hurt. Right. And if it's foot pain, the foot is going to represent, the foot can represent your lymphatic system. And it can also represent that is the water element, which is Pisces. So again, emotions. Okay, emotions creating these pains. My hands hurt so bad and tingle. All right, you need to watch your nervous system. Okay, watch your nervous system because you could be dealing with neuropathy. So you want to watch that. All right, want to watch your neuropathy. Okay, that's another thing of relaxing the nerves. Foot pain in the heel, what should I do? I told you what you should do. Get your owner's manual, sir, and smile. Nature is the perfect balance. I told y'all what to do. Get your owner's manual. Don't ask me, ask nature. People coming with trauma. Yes, a lot of people got trauma. That's the beginning of it, right? Remember that I told y'all the interference, right? What's interfering with you getting to this consciousness? It is that trauma. It is toxins, and it's also your thoughts. Those are the 3 T's that keeps us from getting to our higher consciousness, getting to this healing, getting to this oxytocin. How can you feel love and bonding and all that when you sick and broke and shut in and fucked up and alone and all of that? So yeah, that's the hard thing about it is how can I feel love? It is because of your programming of what love is. I told you you're looking for love in life. You need to love life. You need to be in love with life, not in love with things in life. Okay? How to boost your autoimmune system. Love. Oxytocin, serotonin, melatonin, all 3 boost your immune system. Really, I done told y'all what to heal y'all. The foot pain, all that stuff. Oxytocin, serotonin, and melatonin. You see what I'm trying to get y'all to see? That's your medicines. For any disease that you got on here, cancer, autoimmune diseases, eye problems, headaches, menstrual problems, fertility problems, erectile problems, whatever your problem is, the medicine is serotonin, melatonin, and oxytocin. Okay? Now you got herbs and stuff that can help you produce those. You got things that can help you cleanse. Okay, you got herbs that can help you detox. You got herbs that can help you with a lot of stuff. But you need to have that right down. Those 3, they got to be in you. Can you pin those? Yeah, can you pin those for me? Serotonin, oxytocin, and think it's serotonin, oxytocin. I'm trying to figure out how to spell it. And don't have me typing on her. One of y'all put that in the chat. Just had a great detox, feel so energetic, unlike before. Okay, so just keep your energy high. Okay, don't let nothing bring it down. Right? And when you're detoxing, you got to make sure we understand that detoxing is going toward toxins everywhere. So that's in the mind and the body. Oxytocin, serotonin, and melatonin are the medicines. Okay. Let me write them up here. Serotonin, oxytocin, and melatonin are the chemicals in you that can heal you. And you can get this stuff again through dancing, through music, through all kind of stuff. Let me see if I got that up here. Let's see if I put that in. See if we got that. Okay. So these are some of the ways that you can get it right here. Okay, the runner's high, right? Remember the runner's high, but remember I told you guys that we already come with receptors in us, right? We come with opioid receptors. We come with endocannabinoid receptors. So if you guys understand what that word is, you already come with the ability to get high of your own supply. So instead of having a runner's high, we're just going to have a high on life. And that's what I'm really trying to get you guys to understand. That runner's high is a way for us to be able to activate these things, okay? Laughter. Getting more laughter in our life. Instead of all this cussing and fussing, let's find something to laugh together. Even if, look, if y'all just gonna be in there talking shit and making each other mad, then start pooting around each other then shit. And see if that'll make you laugh. Okay? You heard me over there. If you're gonna be talking shit all day, and if that's gonna make you mad, close your mouth and open your okay, and let it come out that way. And I bet you start laughing with each other. I'd rather you do that with each other, smelling bad laughing, than smelling good arguing. Okay? Laughter. Find something to laugh about. Meditation and prayer. This is what we're trying to get you to do with the owner's manual, because we understand that that's producing something called medicine within you, and that's going to be your serotonin, melatonin, and oxytocin. Music and dance, spicy food as well will help with this production. Okay? Remember the heat. Heating you up. Dancing heats you up. Exercising heats you up. Laughter heats you up. Meditation heats you up. And then also social bonding, touching, and intimacy heats you up. So all we're doing is using light to create this heat energy, because we're trying to create this warmth, comfy, comfortable place that we can call heaven in our minds. And that's going to allow us to be able to be happy, whole, and well. Okay. Any other questions so far? Anybody got any questions? I got about 17 more minutes. So if you keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Okay. So more music, more dancing, more laughter, more child's play, more bonding and touching and intimacy. Not talking about sex. We're talking about the foreplay of it, right? The talking to each other right, the treating each other right, the caressing each other right, the sensuality of each other way before. That's the making love. And as long as you're in the dopamine, you need to keep on some protection. But when you're trying to come on over here to oxytocin, you can drop your guards. Life is going to be okay, because we're going to heal each other with what we're bringing to the table. If you're looking for dopamine, quick pleasure, temporary thing that's going to keep me running like a dog chasing a rabbit, then guess what? That's okay every now and then, but I don't want a chronic life of temporary pleasure. I want a permanent sustainment of love and peace and joy, and that's in oxytocin. But they're getting us with the dopamine. So we're all addicted to the dope, man, which is the pleasure, the fast food, the fast relationships, the fast this and the fast money. You see, we're inundated with the dopamine, the dope man. You know what I mean, right? But if we go back to slowing down, if we go back to long term, if we go back to sustainability, that's in love making. That's not in nothing recreational. That's in something procreational. Because when I go into it from a procreational standpoint, I'm creating a life with you. Ain't just a baby, it is a life. We're procreating. I mean, we're going to build babies, business, and everything else together. And if you see every woman like that, and if you do a really good interview for that position, then you won't be missing and mistaken, because intuition is going to be the biggest thing that's going to get you. But if you're doing it, look, if we're doing it for recreation, I got two questions: when and well. But if we're doing it for procreation, I got a whole interview session, right? Because I got to make sure intuitively that we're in sync to build lives together. Yeah, recreation don't require two questions: when and well. Okay. So yeah, we got to be careful. I love this community. Yes, yes. Meat is really starting to make me feel some type of way. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's all about you biologically. Okay. Meat can be heavy. It can be a weight, and that creates a different stress. All right. Remember that this stuff up here that we're talking about is neuropeptides. These are proteins. These neurotransmitters and neuropeptides. These are proteins. A peptide is a protein, an amino acid. Okay. And so we don't need no meat. You understand what I'm saying? As far as the actual animals, you don't remember that in the beginning you didn't have to do nothing because this is supposed to be heaven. So you won't need, again, when you pick a fruit or vegetable, the tree don't die, but when you kill an animal, the animal die. So at the end of the day, if we just stayed in that world, the world that we created for ourselves in the beginning was heaven. So we go back to that old world, which everything was being revered and everything was being respected, and we was under universal law of correspondence, return, and reciprocity, and all that. And we put shit back, and we understood how to reseed and replant and how to do all these types of things again. Then we'll know the value of life. And then when you respect, like I said, you got to be in love with life. When you start getting in love with life, then down being a vegan and down being a carnivore and a herbal, when you start being in love with life, you won't even step on an ant. When you start being in love with life, it ain't even about your hunger no more. You understand what I'm trying to say? When you start loving life, hell, you'll barely pick that orange. You'll barely pick that apple. When you start loving life, then you'll see life in everything. Then you'll value everything. And that's where the heavenly consciousness is at. It's not after death. It's need to be activated in life. If you're trying to be here for forever, remember that this world we've created doesn't facilitate everlasting life. So we literally got to learn this information, which is what I'm trying to do, is get you to activate it from within so that you can be better human beings as individuals. And then once we start seeing that this is the blueprint, we start telling everybody, share this shit. Because like I said, if you up here, let me take this off the screen. If you are up here, you guys, if you're in your consciousness, you don't want to come down here to date. You don't want to come down here to go to work. You know, when you get to heaven, you don't want to come down here to, I ain't trying to go back. Look, if what I came from my mama's mind, from my daddy's mind, out of my mama's spine, out of my daddy's you know what it is, and then now you trying to get me to go back up here. I ain't going back down. So I want to meet everybody. I want to work with everybody. I want to live with everybody while I'm up here. So the bottom line is that if one people do it at a time, then that person will feel isolated because there ain't no big enough dating pool doing it as individuals. There ain't no big enough work community doing it as individuals. So therefore, you're going to have a hard life. Doing this by yourself, you're going to have a hard life. Trust me, I have had a hard life and still having one. But I'm doing my due diligence to show you what I have been presented in my life, to know what's real and what's bad. If you level up and get to this level, you won't see no badness. You won't see none of my bad traits. I won't see none of yours. So therefore, we all need to level up to this information. We all need to level up. Otherwise, you're in a world full of trouble trying to make critical life decisions while people are in their hellacious consciousness. Making babies and families and desires and wants and needs in a hellacious consciousness is not a good thing. But that's where everybody at. So I understand you want to come to the club. I understand you want to come to the green light district. I understand that you want to go to the show. I get it. I understand that's where everybody's at. But bring everybody up. Don't go. So my point to you is that doing this will isolate you. So therefore, we need to share this so each individual getting their own balance in with nature can start to say, hey, look, start knowing yourself better, and then you'll know how to duck and dodge divorce, disease, and death, and all this type of stuff. Point blank, bottom line. We start sharing that's the consensus. Then you use an instrument that can get you that information, and this is the instrument, the owner's manual. If you guys are interested, please DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. My mind is high vibrating with peace and light. Don't go down to hell trying to find nobody then. Okay? You better, while you up there vibing, you catch somebody else that's flying. Okay? When you flying high, catch somebody else in the sky. Don't bring your ass down here to the ground trying to find no mate. Okay? Don't try to come down to the ground to go to work. Don't try to come down to the ground to fit in. But your job is to show and to share. I am high. I just met someone named Moses, though. All right. Now Moses. Now you know Moses mean the water. You right? Yes. Yes, but even when I was working and buying and eating good food, still felt ill. Yeah, because you probably still overeating. I eat one time a day, you guys. No matter how good the food is, how bad the food is, once is all I'm gonna do. Okay, so that's all we got to do to stay balanced, you guys, and stay in our elements. All right. If you guys need more information, if you want more information about the owner's manual, or just how to go about your health journey, okay, and you just need somebody to talk to, please DM us. We'll get you the information that you need, or email me and we'll get you the information that you need. If you got your owner's manual and you're considering getting your owner's manual herbal blend, DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. If you are looking to go over or discuss your owner's manual, call me, save my contact, download WhatsApp, and then call me and we will discuss it between the times of 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys, man, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan. Peace. Who's that? Yes, sir.